Now, we should have a GitHub account set up and everything linked up, right? So let's go back to branching and let's see how we can use branches locally and also push them up to our remote repository, and how we can work with GitHub and branching. So let's go back to our repository on GitHub. Let's go back to code and we can explore a little bit in our GitHub menus. Now here we see that we have a commit, basic books. That's our commit history. Now if we go to our history, we'll see that we have that basic books commit. And coincidentally, if you do a git log here, we'll see the same thing here. So GitHub will let us neatly check out commit history and whatnot. Now we can go to our code and explore a little more. Now here we see that we have one branch and just the branch main. So let's say we are collaborating with other developers or whatnot, so we want to go back and start using our or making the bookstore profile or whatnot. So here I will go ahead and create a new branch. Let's check out our branches first with git branch command, and then we can create a new branch by either using git switch command or git branch -b or git checkout -b. So we'll do git checkout -b, and this will need to provide a new branch name. So we'll name the branch, I don't know, what we're going to be working on, profiles. Great. So we created and switched to a new branch profiles with one command. Let's make sure that everything is good. Okay. Now we are on profiles branch. So we'll go ahead and create profiles.txt, and we'll put in some information. And we'll have 4 names here. Great. Let's do a commit. Git add. No, let's do git status first. We'll see that we have an untracked file, so we can either add the file or let's do --all. Git status again. We have that new file staged, but it's not committed yet. So we'll commit and say initial customers. Cool. So we have that. We have that commit. Let's check out our git log. We have the earlier log, and we have our profiles branch and initial customers commit. Great. So how do we get this branch and how do we get the changes to GitHub? It should be just as easy as git push, right? Well, it gives a scary command. It says fatal, the current branch profiles has no upstream branch. So it kind of gives us a hint of what to do. And let's actually see what's actually happening. When we say git push, we're saying, okay, push whatever that we have right now and with this branch and push it to GitHub, essentially. But GitHub essentially says, well, I don't have GitHub. Let's go back to GitHub. Well, I don't have this profile branch just yet. Well, what can we do? We can create a profile branch on GitHub, whatnot, but we can use a command in our local Git, and we'll say, okay, git push origin, and we're gonna point it to our branch name, profiles, right? Is that the one that we that's the one that we created? Yeah. And now we have a new branch on GitHub, and Git understands that we're going to be pushing and creating a new branch on GitHub as well. And if we go back to GitHub, we'll take a look here. And we have profiles branch, and we have the main branch. Now, the main branch, right, doesn't have the profiles yet. But if we switch over to the profiles branch, we have the profiles, which was created 2 minutes ago, essentially. If we switch back to the main branch, we don't have that yet. Now Git is giving us a hint about a pull request, comparing pull requests. We'll talk a little bit later about that. But let's go back and add something else. We'll add profiles and maybe we'll add some more information to our customer profile. So Steve, age 34, male. Mike, age 20, also male. Anna, age 22, female. And Bob, age 40, male. Let's save that. Let's clear this up. And we'll do status again. And it says, okay, well, something's modified. So we'll -- all. We'll commit with a message called, well, updated user profiles. And what happens if we do git push again? Now remember, we're still in profiles branch. It says, well, fatal git, current git branch profiles has no upstream branch. Now we can push the current branch and set the remote as upstream. So it says, okay, by default, if you want, well, set this upstream to profiles. So it would basically automate this for us. But if we do the same thing again, origin, git push, origin, profiles, and it pushes up to the profiles again. Whether we want to automate things or not, it's really a personal preference. You can have a lot of Git is very configurable essentially, so a lot of the configuration we can set to certain defaults and automate, so we don't have to essentially repeat ourselves. Everybody has their own personal preference. For some people, they want to be more explicit and have more control. Others, well, just automate things. For me, it's really, again, depending from person to person. Now if we jump back here, let's we have 37 seconds ago we have another change. That's what Git is telling us about. GitHub is telling us about. If we go back to profiles, right, now we have 3 commits here, and we can take a look at our commit history essentially, and we can go back, and Git is giving us, our Git software on GitHub is giving us a hint that this profiles branch is 2 commits ahead of main, meaning that if we go back to main, main is behind in terms of what we have in our project behind the profiles. So it's a little bit of a like, I guess, more user-friendly look, because if we go and switch back to main, right, because right now we are on main branch, on the profiles branch. So if we go to main, so git checkout main, now your branch is up to date with origin main. What is it telling us? Well, the main branch is up to date with whatever main branch is on GitHub. So whatever we have on the main branch here is up to date with whatever we have on the main branch in a GitHub. So this on GitHub, this main branch on GitHub is completely synced with what we have on the main branch locally. Now, if we go back to our profiles, GitHub is telling us, well, this branch, the profiles branch, is ahead of main. So what can we do? Well, we can say git merge profiles if we are ready to bring in the changes locally, if you're ready to bring in whatever changes were on the profile. So if you want to bring into the main branch, now we got a fast forward, right? Everything from the profiles.txt got added to our main branch. So profiles here, right? And if you do the git status again, now we have a similar message in our git. It says your branch is ahead of orange and main by 2 commits. Git push to publish your local commits. What is it telling us? It's telling us, okay, you took the changes locally, you took the changes from the profiles branch, you merged them in your main branch, your local main branch. But the cool thing about Git and GitHub integration, it says, hey, this project is being stored in GitHub, in the cloud essentially, and this repository is linked to your GitHub account, and it's telling you that what you have on your GitHub account on the main branch versus what you have here locally in your local Git. And it's smartly telling you that, hey, you have new changes to the main branch here because you brought in all the changes from the profile, but your GitHub account doesn't know about these changes yet. So that's not really reflected within your repository on your GitHub. And it's actually telling you by how many commits and giving you a hint. So just git push. We don't need to specify a branch because we are in the main branch. We don't need to specify that we're going from origin to profiles. Git will know this by default. And if I do git push, we'll get some cryptic responses. But if we go back to GitHub, if you refresh, now the branch is up to date with main. So now both are synced. All right, so let's build on these concepts and work on more on the concepts of collaborating and branching and collaborating with others. So let's take a look at our GitHub repository of our bookstore project. Let's open this up and let's notice that we have some new information. We have new updates to the main branch. We have a comics.txt. We have something new in profiles, something like seems like levels. We have a comics.txt with some comics, and now we have 3 branches, right? So we have a main branch, a comics branch, and a profile branch. So comics branch is new. Profiles, something is new in there. So if we take a look at the commit history, we'll see that we have add new users to profiles, add profile levels. If you go to the comics branch, we have added comics and whatnot. So somebody is collaborating with us. Well, that was me, but somebody like is collaborating with us from another account or from another machine. Now, all right, great. So we go to our local folder, our workspace. We go back to our VS Code, and we don't have the comics, we don't have the profiles, the update to profiles, and whatnot. So what gives, right? And we say, okay, well, let's do git status. Now we run git status and it says on branch main, and your branch is up to date with origin main, with whatever you have on GitHub. But that's actually not true, right? The main on GitHub is actually ahead, right? Now remember the previous example, when our local branch on our machine was ahead, like when our main branch was ahead of what was going on GitHub, our local Git will tell us, hey, what you have here locally is ahead of what's going on in the cloud on GitHub. Do you want to push up the changes? So in this case, our Git says, hey, whatever you have locally, it's you have new stuff. Push up the changes. Now, if the reverse is not really true, because our local our local Git repository, our local Git, will not tell us if anything is ahead of us on GitHub. So we have to resolve that. We have to resolve that ourselves. And there's a couple ways to do it. Two main concepts is git fetch and git pull. They work similarly to each other, but there are some key differences. So let's next take a look on how to update our local repository and our local project with any of the changes that somebody might have done while we were away or off or whatnot. So we'll do that next. Okay, let's take a quick look at the workflow. So we've done some pushing, essentially. We haven't done cloning, we haven't done fetching or pulling. We have our repository, right? So we made some changes, we staged them, we pushed them to the remote repository, to GitHub. Now, somebody else went and made some changes and then pushed up to the remote repository. Now we have to reconcile our local repository with whatever's going on GitHub, with whatever changes our coworker did. So we'll take a look at fetch and pull. Now they are similar. They're similar, but fetch will take new commits, any changes. It will update your local copy and whatever remote branches and whatnot. But it's not affecting your working directory yet. So it's useful when you want to grab the changes, take a look at what's going on, but not automatically merge all the commits, essentially. So, hey, I want to review everything that my coworker did, but I don't want to auto update everything without reviewing it first. Pull will grab new commits, just like git fetch, but then it will automatically, it's kind of illustrated here, update your repository with all the commits and whatnot. So basically, it's like a fast forward, essentially. Everything has changed. You trust all the changes, and it will update your local repository with all that was changed. So let's take a look at how I would use both, or how you would use both, and in which kind of situation.